Hello everyone, I am Taureor and welcome to my newest Hearts of Iron 4 challenge. You have been asking me to play Canada quite a lot, so let's play Canada. Ironman mode historical focuses regular difficulty. And what is our goal in this playthrough? Well, the most asked thing you want me to do with Canada is actually to beat up the United States. So it's going to be a small, limited challenge. Beating up the United States as Canada is actually fairly easy if you are willing to get your hands dirty earlier. We should be done before 1940. I'm going to try and show you the most simple and sure way to make that happen. That should succeed every time, in theory. And yes, we are going to be using the dreaded Order 66 that some of you hate so much, because it's just the best way to do it as Canada. But don't worry, I'll do something different in the next video. So, first we need to switch our ideology either to fascism or communism, because only bad people can attack others without provocation. As Canada, we have a unique focus tree if you have the Together for Victory DLC. So, we have to start with the Patriation focus, which will sever our ties with the Commonwealth. In the meantime, let's build up some military factories, get all our troops into a single army, train a lot of cavalry. Why cavalry? Because we want a lot of small units, and cavalry is the smallest we have. Switch all the units we currently have into cavalry as well. As for research, let's do the generic things we usually do, and a doctrine. I suppose I'll do mass assault this time. Mass assault should let us become powerful very quickly. And free military factories, we won't need those tanks. Let's just focus on making infantry weapons. No need for anything else. Purchase some steel and make convoys, as well as other stuff. I suppose I'll do light cruisers this time, because why not? That should do it. Okay, let's unpause. We will want to be deploying these units as soon as it is possible. Just click deploy here as soon as they reach the minimum required amount of training. The United States are obviously much more powerful than we are, but we do have an ace up our sleeve, and that is a sneak attack on Britain, which will let us take over all of their industry, which is quite important. This focus will let our independence trickle up slowly, and once it reaches the end of this bar, we'll be able to break free from the British. We seek independence. Now we have to choose one of the evil ideologies, because otherwise we won't be able to attack. So we have to become fascist or communist, and yes, both are bad, but it's just a game. We're going fascist because that can let us ally the Germans if that becomes a necessity, or the Japanese. This might be helpful if the war doesn't go the way we want it to go. And let's deploy the units that are ready for deployment. Now, the focus trees from Together for Victory are pretty bad usually because they are restrictive. Instead of giving you extra stuff, they limit what you can do. So, for example, we can't do limited conscription because we would need to fulfill a certain focus to do that. That is restrictive. I don't like that, but I've mentioned that in previous videos already. No matter, we'll manage somehow. Right, let's also exercise these cavalry units. The extra experience will be helpful. And keep deploying. We don't need to rush too much because we'll have to wait for this to trickle up anyway. We have enough points to hire an advisor. Let's do a silent workhorse. That is usually a good choice. We also have an old guard guy, but I don't think that will pay off before we win. The focus is done. We're getting fascist support now. We can't really follow the path further until we become fascist. Let's instead do this focus, which gives us extra political power. Continuing the doctrine. And let's do concentrated industry. 34 units. That is not a lot, but it will have to be enough. As you can see, we're getting fascist support, but we're gonna need to hire a fascist demagogue soon as well, because only this way we can actually do a referendum. Spanish Civil War, not a problem for me. Now we have enough political power, let's get that fascist demagogue. Chuck Crate. Okay, and see, now we can open up political discourse and do a referendum. That can wait. That can wait a bit, we don't need to do that immediately. As for the next focus, we're actually going to end this challenge very quickly, so I don't need to invest in everything. Now, all the focuses here are pretty crap because they're geared towards a weak country, and we're going to become very big soon. Let's just do the railway. And I can honestly say the generic focus tree is much better than this. However, maybe it's less full of flavor, but it is more powerful. You wouldn't be able to do a referendum, though. You would have to break free with a civil war. I would employ Harry for the extra political power if it was a long game, but we're going to finish it in a couple of years, so it would be a waste of political power to hire him. Let's not do that. Instead, let's open up political discourse. Was the fascist support? Only 25. Still not enough. I suppose we'll do crown corporations, even though all these focuses are pretty crap. We are still part of the Commonwealth, so we get some research bonuses. Let's make sure we do the technologies that makes use of that. It's time to deploy some of our units for the sneak attack we're planning. So, Britain has 6 subjects, we're one of them, so we'll need 5 forces for the subjects. 1 unit each is more than enough. I'm going to try to make it simple so that each and every one of you can follow it and beat the United States as Canada, if you so choose. Unfortunately, we have very little people power, but once we are able to beat up the British and the British Raj, we'll be able to drain some of that from them. Let's make sure to send 1 unit to each of the British subjects that is not ourselves. I already showed that in the France video, I think. If you are beating the Brits, you need to at least fight each of their subjects a little bit so that, the Allies don't survive the thing. Australia, Raj, New Zealand, who have I? Oh, right, Malaya. There you go. These units are gonna get killed, but that's a sacrifice we are willing to make. All the rest of the troops will be stationed in the British Isles so that they can beat up the Brits directly. Yeah, see, there really isn't a focus that's worth doing here right now. Once we increase the world tension a bit, there will be some better stuff available. For now, let's just do army modernization. That extra buff to a doctrine can be slightly helpful. Oh, fascist assault divisions, perfect. That means we can actually do the referendum now. All we need to do is discredit the government. And, oh wait, we can't because we only went to 49. We need 50 and a tiny bit. And here it is, national referendum. Lose some stability, not a problem. We are now, oh, this guy's, that's a scary looking guy, which I suppose is in line with having a fascist government. We still need to gather up some political power to be able to break free, so we're not going to be using that political power for anything. We might even not do focuses for a while. Now, actually, me going fascist already was a bit of a mistake. Let me take you through my reasoning and why it was a mistake. I used 50 political power to discredit the government to speed things up. However, that was not necessary, because we still have to wait to become free by clicking this button. Now, my reasoning in rushing the switch to fascism was that we need more people power, and I would be able to do limited and extensive conscription, perhaps. However, I forgot the thing I mentioned before, that you cannot change conscription laws without that stupid focus restriction. So essentially, we've wasted 50 political power. No matter, we'll be fine. As Canada, we do have some good generals. Let's set up this army group and send some of our troops to Britain. I'm just going to give them a garrison order. I'm going to distribute them differently afterwards. This is temporary. Also, we can give our field marshal some skills. Logistics wizard would be helpful. Unfortunately, we can't access that, but we can do offensive doctrine, charismatic, and organization first. Not really selecting anything right now because we need to save up political power to break free. Let's do the infantry corps focus. This will give us a bonus for infantry weapons, and if we play this right, we can actually use it to get the, well, how do you pronounce that? Rising guns early. We just have to start this before completing the focus, and then proceed to the gun research. Continuing the doctrine thing, see, we can also get some extra people power from here. And of the Spanish Civil War, Republican Spain won. That doesn't really concern us. We should be done with the whole challenge before this becomes an issue. The Brits have a huge navy, but fortunately we will not have to beat their navy, since we're already there. Hindenburg disaster. So we're not gonna get any more of the Hindenburg. Let's do the Royal Regiments of Canadian Artillery. They are pretty useless, but that leads to another doctrine bonus. See, we have a bonus to infantry stuff. We are not going to waste it here, we're going to use it here. In the meantime, while we're still part of the Commonwealth, let us make use of the tech bonuses that provides. Oh, actually, we have enough army experience to modify our template. Let's reduce the size of the cavalry militia template. This way, we can fit more of them. Yeah, let's use all that people power and get as many as we can deployed. We will be switching them. Oh, and that makes 2 full armies to beat up the Brits. Perfect. You know, that will be about right. 2 full armies is all we need. Let's send all of them to Britain, and you can exercise while you're there. Japan attacks Xiangxi and all the Chinese stuff happens. Well, that actually increases the world tension a bit, and that might unlock some focuses. Let's have a quick look. Nope, not yet. And mass mobilization route. These guys are untrained, but after a moment it will not matter. Let's not select a new focus, because we're about to do support the blue shirts, once we break free. In a moment. We have finally gained enough independence to break free from the Brits. Let's do just that. And now we can start the blue shirts focus, which is going to give us a significant amount of extra people power. And it's also time to exit the Allies. Leave faction. And unfortunately now my troops are gonna get exiled, but there's no helping it. Well, unless they would give me military access, which they're not going to do, because they might be onto me. Anyway, now we justify a war goal. Let's do Belgium. 230 days, that's fine, and let's slow the game down. We also want to justify another war goal on the United States. Why? Well, because we need the world tension to go up. So, now let's have a look at Belgium and see if they get guaranteed. And make sure to slow it down, because if the Brits guarantee them, we need to immediately take action, otherwise they might get guaranteed by the French and the Brits, and if they're just guaranteed by the French, we'll have to find another target, because that just won't do, which is why I'm keeping some reserve political power. Okay, that's a bit too slow. Okay, guaranteed by the Brits. Now we immediately cancel the war goal on the United States, because if we don't, the French might guarantee them as well. This is pretty random. If you do get a guarantee from France instead of Britain, what you need to do is cancel the justification on Belgium and start another one on someone else like Luxembourg or Poland or Netherlands. It will take you a little bit more time, but you should finally get a guarantee by the Brits, which is what we need. And once you have that guarantee, you just cancel the war goal on the United States. We'll deal with them a little bit later. Now we wait. Let's cancel all their orders and distribute them properly. Let's also make sure that the guy... Oh, crap. Let's also make sure that the guys we've sent to the British colonies are where they're supposed to be. And yes, they are where they're supposed to be. Good. We want to distribute these guys so that there will be a connection that can provide supplies for them. We do have around half a year to do it, so we can take our time and go slow just to make sure everything is as it's supposed to be. We have to secure a few ports. We denounce Belgian ideals, yeah, no more waffles. And we can use our infantry weapons bonus to get the guns quickly. This looks about right. And the final half of an army, let's make sure they are connected to each other. We should be able to capture a few ports right at the start of the war, which should be enough to supply our entire army. And these two guys will be here so that if we can't get Newcastle, the supplies can travel around Newcastle. Okay, this looks acceptable. Let's train a couple more units just to keep home in order to, not get conquered in the meantime, because the Brits could theoretically rush our capital and win. I'm going to leave a few units here just for that possibility. We're mobilizing relatively slowly, but that will be sufficient. I'm going to switch all my troops in Britain into infantry. As soon as they capture a few ports, they should start getting reinforcements, and we should have enough people to send them. Now, focuses. Joining Germany could be very beneficial, but it is not necessarily what we need at the moment. I might do that later. Let's leave this for now. And we don't really care about Mexico. We won't need Mexico to beat up the Americans. In the meantime, let's do this focus tree, because that will give us some extra troops. Anschluss of Austria happened. Not my problem. And we're only producing infantry weapons. We won't really have enough for all of our troops. But that's okay, we can just steal the British guns. Let's hire an army offense expert and continue our mass mobilization doctrine. And you guys will actually garrison our home region. Just do the victory points in the port. Canada, white bread. Yes, I know it's something different. Are you guys getting seriously attritioned or just a bit? Just a bit. Our justification is complete. We can now attack, and we also have researched the better gun. Let's analyze the situation. That is 1, 2, 3 unguarded ports. Great. Situation is a bit worse up here. No unguarded ports here, but we would have a chain of supply from down there. London is defended, and so is Plymouth, and so is Birmingham, and so is, what's that, Liverpool? I never remember. However, Peoplechester is undefended, and so is Glasgow and Edinburgh, so that is a lot of victory points for us immediately. Okay, if that is the situation, I could attack now, or we could try and retreat these units to save them. Now let's retreat the troops that are in provinces with enemy forces. Then they'll get supplies from Dover and Portsmouth and whatever this port here is called. If the British troops start moving, we'll have to readjust our orders, but it doesn't seem like they will. Now this is tricky because we are weak. We can only rely on the surprise element of our attack. Let's also make sure to start producing the better guns. They're not going to help us much, but they will help. What was I saying? Oh right, the element of surprise. So, surprise! We have declared war on Belgium. Now let's stone this down a bit. The United Kingdom has joined, and we have seized a lot of territory, including 3 ports. Oh, did I not wait for you to get off? Ah, must have missed this one. Including 3 ports, which means our troops are about to get resupplied. Okay, our guys got a bit of organization back, they can start moving. But we're hardly in a position to do a lot. We can do a bit. You take these 2 provinces, you take these 2, and so on. We'll try to seize as much territory as we can, and then fill the gaps later. As in, just eliminate the pockets of resistance. They should be cut off from supply, which will make things a bit easier for us. The Brits don't have a lot of troops here, so for example here, if this troop moves off from Plymouth, this unit can take Plymouth. We'll be okay, just need to wait a bit so my guys are resupplied properly. You're about to move here, then you can swoop in and take the port. Manual management is crucial in this situation. Unfortunately, I don't like manual management, but if we are so much weaker than our enemy, it becomes a necessity. Oh, see? The troops from Cardiff will move here, then I can swoop in and take Cardiff. Ideally, that is what would happen. Belgium joins us, and the Italians and the Germans are sending us volunteers. Yes, please. I need to closely monitor all of their forces to make this work. See, Birmingham is now empty. They have moved off. I can use that to move into Birmingham. And same goes for most enemy provinces, because the Brits never garrison their home territory. We do control 3 ports, but even 1 would be sufficient. South Africa has been called in. I do have troops in South Africa. Now, do we want to join the Axis? We might want to. It can be very helpful later on. So let's join the Axis, but we're not going to call them into the war. Nothing too exciting happening here, but Liverpool has been vacated, so we can move in and take it, and that is another port. Oh, and Newcastle has been vacated. They must have been navally transported somewhere else. That's good. See, these guys are moving off from Plymouth. I'm going to move into Plymouth once that happens. And we can take Cardiff because they've moved off. The AI doesn't really seem to care about holding ports, which is a fatal mistake. Ah, Lend-Lease from the Germans. Wonderful. Moved in, take Plymouth. And these guys will be cut off from supply. Oh, great. We're about to win. How? Well, these troops from London are moving away from London, which means I can just walk in there. Although it might be beneficial if we wait for all the British puppets to be part of the war, so still need to wait for Australia and Malaya. One of our units seems to have been killed already. And which one is that? The one in New Zealand? Really? The one in New Zealand got killed? Is New Zealand even part of this? Yes, they are. And they've killed our unit. Well, good job, New Zealand. You guys run away. I don't need to, prevent them from leaving London. Leaving London is exactly what we want them to do. Malaya has joined, and so has Australia. So all the British puppets are now in the war. Now, there's something about not having a peace conference earlier than a week or 2, I don't remember, after the war starts. So just in case that could prevent everyone from being in the peace conference, I'm going to wait a bit before I actually take London, which of course I'm going to do. Plymouth is about to be ours, and these guys are losing steam because our troops already received some reinforcements. And oh, some troops landed in Cardiff, but they have no organization, which means I should be able to kill them, and they're trying to take Peoplechester from us. I suppose I will counter that. In such a situation, in such a tactic, manual management is the key, but the Brits are very rarely ready for a land attack. Oh, Rosyth, this one is free for the taking, and I think it is time to end this. Let's take London. You should be the fastest to get there. And that will end the war. Yes, I know some of you hate Order 66, but I'm pretty proud of myself for having come up with it. And The United Kingdom is the only major power in the war, so them capitulating should lead to a peace conference at midnight, and here it is. Okay, can we get everyone? No, we can't get New Zealand. Bloody hell. How did that happen? I must have positioned my unit wrong. This can actually become a big problem for me. Well, let's hope it doesn't become a big problem for me. What do we need to do? Well, we want to satellite Pakistan and satellite United Kingdom after taking most of their stuff. Probably should have sent a couple more units to New Zealand. Yeah, we kind of screwed up with that one. But maybe it'll be alright. Let's pass a few times so we have enough points to do everything at once. British Malaya, take all states. Australia, take all states. Raj, take all states. And satellite Pakistan. Why satellite Pakistan? Well, because they are an excellent source of people power. And South Africa, just take all states. We could satellite a couple more countries from the United Kingdom, but we won't really need to. What we're going to do is take everything from the UK apart from one little bit. Okay, you can keep Dover. And we only need them as a puppet with that one little bit because we want the fleet. Just in case something goes wrong. And that's it. End turn, and we're done. Probably should have just left them with Northern Ireland, it would look better. Never mind. Now we have beaten the Brits. Are we still at war? We are not. However, the Allies still exist, and that could come back to bite us in the behind. What do we do now? Well, we get ready to beat up the United States of America. So, let's get a war goal going, shall we? 145 days. That sounds about right. We have also joined the Axis, so if anything goes wrong, we can call the Germans in to help, although they don't usually come to America. Let's do 5 full armies. I'm gonna need some generals for that. Whoa, this guy has an epic moustache, and we need to train enough troops to fill these armies. So we need, what, 23, 46, 66 units. I'm gonna train cavalry, because it's faster. And then we're going to switch to infantry in the field. Just deploy here. More than that, we're going to switch to Mughal infantry in the field. They have support companies. I suppose I could produce some support equipment. I do have a lot of factories. Let's copy infantry template 3 from them. 2 armies will attack from this side. And our goal is just to capitulate the United States. I'm going to need to exercise all of them a little bit, but there's no rush with that. They have 850,000 people power. That's going to be more than enough. And the Brits, well, they have a fleet, which is going to be very helpful. Let's speed things up a bit. And I want to deploy this cavalry as soon as it is ready to deploy and switch them into Mughal units. Now we switch everyone to the new Mughal Empire units. How are we doing on equipment? Not that great. I think we might be better off if I just use plain infantry without the support equipment. Let's cancel this and switch them to a different setup. This, just infantry division. This is better. So we switch the templates and let's exercise. Oh, I forgot to do a focus. Damn it, I should have done commit to war. Yeah, if a challenge isn't particularly difficult, like this one, I get distracted easily and forget stuff like doing a focus. Germany attacked Czechoslovakia. Right, because us eliminating the British changed the balance of power a little bit, and they chose to just attack. That's fine. I don't have to get involved in the war, and I don't want to get involved in the war. Italy joins Axis, we can call them in if we so choose. Czechoslovakia is annexed. Now, I wonder if France will join the Allies when attacked. Right, we're almost in position. Let's stop the exercise, make everyone super aggressive, and activate the orders. We're not fully supplied, but we're almost fully supplied, and that's gonna be good enough. Justification is complete. Just make sure all of them have maximum organization. There it is. Yeah, I could use some more guns, but it's fine. The ones traveling to Alaska are low on organization, but that's not a problem. Alright, we're ready to attack. Let's declare war on the United States of America. Let's go. Now, they should be weaker than we are at the moment because they didn't have enough time to prepare. It's 1938 and we're attacking the United States. See, green all across the board. Well, almost all across the board. The Philippines have been called in. Oh, we're gonna have a problem. Why? Well, because the United States don't count as a major power, apparently. It doesn't say so here, so we might have to defeat the Philippines. Major countries. No, it does say United States here. I suppose we'll see once we defeat them. The Brits want to join. I'm not going to allow them to join, not yet. If we still have to beat up the Philippines after taking continental United States, then the Brits will actually come in handy, because I need a fleet to get to the Philippines, and I don't have one. And the Brits do have one. I'm making some ships, but even if we take out the United States, their fleet will survive that. Anyway, let's just watch the United States get invaded by Canadian infantry. Progress is not very quick. I've had better, but we are certainly beating them up successfully. And we're getting some Lend-Lease. I'm not going to call in the Italians or the Germans, because they could end up taking some of our territory. We do have a lot of political power, and now we can do the commit to war focus, which will finally unlock conscription laws. I suppose I'll hire a popular figurehead for the extra stability, and perhaps go to partial mobilization. Can't really do war economy, because we don't have enough war support. See, the United States have a great industrial potential, but they start the game quite weak, and it takes them time to be able to compete, which is why we're now kicking their ass. Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Well, the Germans are about to attack Poland. Oh, what is that? Damn it, they did a naval thing. Okay then, I don't want you taking my capital. Let's send a unit to deal with them. Perhaps I committed too many troops to this front line and too few to this one. There are more victory points here. Is it just me, or is Canada a bit bigger than it used to be? Yay, commit to the war. We're finally getting more soldiers. Let's continue with send in the zombies. 2 full army groups would be better for this. We would, make gains quicker and win faster. But we can also be victorious with what we have right now. They're just not combat ready in 1939. And we are. We've already had a successful rebellion against the British. Germany attacked Luxembourg before Poland. Strange. France is fighting Germany, so if France joins the Allies once Belgium is attacked, that could actually be good for us. Poland is under attack. Poor innocent Poland. We always get screwed, don't we? In the meantime, we're almost in San Francisco. Pulling back one of the armies here was actually quite problematic for our war effort, but it's gonna be alright in a moment. Let's do some manual management to speed this up and just rush Chicago. How many more victory points do I need? Not that many. Canada doing quite well indeed. And here it is, the peace conference. Okay, so I did not have to fight the Philippines. It's probably because we didn't fight at all. They're not involved in this. So what we can do now is take all states and satellite the Philippines. Do I need to satellite the Philippines? Yeah, let's do that. And turn. Done. And here it is. Canada has annexed the United States of America in 1939. Now we have also annexed Britain and South Africa and Malaya and Australia and the Raj, but the main thing is we have annexed the United States of America. 13th of August 1939. I could have done that faster with more manual management, but I don't like manual management. Let me know what you think about this challenge. It was relatively easy, of course, with the use of my favorite Order 66. I know some of you hate it, but hopefully it will get patched out soon, because I just can't resist using it. I tried to keep this streamlined and simple, so each of you should be able to replicate what I did here. But if you are having trouble, let me know in the comments. I can't always respond to all the comments, but if I can't, maybe some other viewer will help you out if you're having trouble with it. So, that was a quick and easy challenge. Hopefully you liked it. Make sure to let me know in the comments. And that's it for today. I will see you again soon. Goodbye.